Welcome to the Men of Honor podcast. My name is Corey, your host, and today I'm going to be answering a question. And this is a question somebody put to me on Instagram, and it was about having a sexless marriage. And this is quite interesting one because I think I've touched upon it for a few times in different episodes, and I to ask him a few questions, and I was saying, on average, how many times do you have sex in a week or in a month? And it turned out you're saying it's about 2 times a month or something like that. So it came up to about 24 times a year, which I don't know if for some people, depending on the relationship, that's a lot. To some people, what is he complaining about? Because some people actually go for years without actually having sex. So it's some of the stuff. Yeah, we talked about this, and I said, yeah, if that's the amount, depending on your age and things like that, maybe it's the fact that you just have a mismatch in sexual desire. So you desire more, and maybe she's not at that place. And without actually speaking to both of them, then I can't fully help him to increase that desire in her, or at least resolve the mismatch. So it's be something that they probably need to go and see somebody and speak, because I'm not a doctor, and if you've got some situations, sometimes it's better to speak to a doctor. But from personal experience, I can truly say that when you've got a mismatch in sex, usually it comes down to the communication of sexuality. So as a guy, I talked about that you need to be able to be in seduction mode pretty much every day, every single minute. And now when I say seduction mode, that doesn't mean the sleazy side of things, or actually looking for sex. Is actually cultivating a playful side within your relationship. So you are joking about things, you are playing little games where you slap each other, where there's this physical contact, there's a lot of eye contact, there's a lot of laughing. Those are the things that are good, because it creates a good momentum of social fluids that are going on. So there's a few things that we're talking about that we can work on. And also the other thing that is a major thing is the fact that many women walk around through or go through life with shame towards sex. So they're shamed even when every time they open a magazine, every time they watch the TV, there's always all these things that shame them in terms of their body or sexuality, or so many things that make them feel unattractive in order for them to buy goods and stuff like that. So they are bombarded with this, and us as men, sometimes we struggle to get them that point where they are quite confident about themselves and their sexuality. And it's not your responsibility to do so, but you can actually contribute to that, because it's again, I did try to stress this point, that it's not your duty to make her feel sexy. She shouldn't expect you to make her feel sexy in order for you to actually have sex, because that becomes a very horrible dynamic. That as a man, I will fail on that part, and if I fail, then it just compounds on the shame that you're already feeling. So it actually makes it worse. So it's one of the reasons why she wouldn't want to have sex, is the fact that some of the behaviors that I do, out of the fact that I'm probably ignorant or not on the same wavelength, compounds on the fact that she's already feeling shame and pushes us apart. So there's a lot of variables in it, but at the same time, there's a few things that you can actually take away that are pretty solid in terms of making things work, in terms of you actually taking responsibility of the fact that you have to be in seduction mode. And again, there's an episode that I did where I talked about the fact that you have the time when you start seducing is when you actually have the orgasm. So you go through the seduction process, you go into heightened state of arousal, and then you have sex, and then you have an orgasm. And again, when you're having sex also, we did talk about that again. You don't Most guys tend to rush into the orgasm. If you rush to the orgasm, then it creates this thing where you are rushing through it. And again, these are the most pivotal points to contributing to his sexuality. So being able to get it to at a point to release, all the tension. So starting off with gentle massages and being able to do some of those things to calm her down and actually be aware of your body, aware of your hands, and aware of the breathing and stuff like that. Those are quite important pivotal things in terms of actually just getting her to relax, and actually you showing her that you admire her and her body and how she is as a person. Then creates that, or at least contributes towards her feeling that, secure in herself. Because again, the shame that she carries about herself and sex and everything else that she's bombarded with every single day, it's her responsibility to actually resolve that. Because again, where everybody goes through life in their own journey. Yes, you do connect with some other people, but the effectiveness of connecting with other people is dependent on the work that you do with yourself. If you don't do work on yourself, your relationships can never be as deep, because it's always dependent on what you do with yourself and how you're navigating through life. So if I got an issue with shame and I don't deal with it, it's aware the potential relationships that I have. So again, while I gave him a mission to work on himself, it was quite important for him to actually have that communication with his partner, that they might need to resolve a few things that she might be going through, and that few things that in terms of behavior that he's doing that might be triggering even more shame. So it's quite interesting, and this is just one little aspect of actually resolving a sexless marriage, or at least mismatch in terms of sexual appetite. It's one way of resolving it, but there's a ton of things that we can actually deep dive into, and this is one of the things I wanted to do when I talked about making the bedroom great again. It's just a bit of a taste of that. Once I finish this consultancy business series, I'm going to start working towards this making the bedroom great again. And I think it's now overdue. To be honest with you, I've been piled with so much work, so I haven't been able to really commit to a time for this. But I think it's almost time for us to actually really go and deep dive into it. And I hope this has been helpful. I actually picked up a few nuggets of knowledge on what you might need to do if you're already experiencing a sexless marriage, because this is not just exclusive to a few. In fact, there's a minority of people that are actually having regular sex that is amazing, and a minority. So the people that are not having sex within their relationships, they make up a large percentage of humans. I mean, it's just, there's so much to it, and there's so much that we can deep dive into and actually work towards it, getting better, and because again, some of you might be asking, why is it so important? And there's so many things that I've detailed in terms of why it's so important. Like to say, the sex staff artist never completes his work, and that's one of the reasons that your focus in terms of life and where you want to go is also dependent on the fact that you're actually got a mate that you got somebody who you are regularly having sex with. It's so important, and you do that because us as men, we actually have sex to feel connected. And I guess the dilemma, then the problem actually comes then when women actually want to feel connected before they have sex. So there's always this miscommunication and other things that come into play, life and children and other things that actually come into the way that you make it 10 times more difficult. But at the same time, it's not as difficult because, again, it's we put so much value on the orgasm, but there's actually a whole process that we try and jump over, and that's because we've been jumping over that process for so long. It makes it so difficult to actually have that consistency. So I tried to go through this one very quickly, and hopefully it's giving you some insights on what you can do and actually implement in your relationship. So thank you very much, guys, for listening. If you've got any questions, hit me up on Instagram like this gentleman did, and hopefully I've answered these questions and you can actually implement some of this stuff. And I was going very quickly through this because I'm still at work, so I need to do some of this stuff very quickly so I can do it. So this is video number 3 in in a space of a few hours. So I got one more to do tomorrow for the consultancy business. So thank you very much. I'll probably publish this after that one. So thank you very much, guys, for listening, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.